We had, I don't know, we had the best time. We had
God.
so much fun.
You went home too early.
Sitting in the lobby. Sitting in the lobby.
So when y'all
little area there bar. Anyway, so we met a man who was married, sitting at the bar. We met a married couple. So he just went with everything we talked about to listen to married people. He was talking about his life and being married, and
his wife upstairs wanting to sleep, and he don't want to sleep.
He don't want to sleep. So I'm asking him about marriage. Is that how it goes? Yes. All right. So
see,
who sleep? Who sleep? Don't want to sleep.
I want to sleep.
You want to sleep, and he don't want to sleep.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Excuse me. I'm on the sleeping side of the relationship too, and he be wanting to hang out.
I'm on the hang out side. I love to hang out.
I'll tell you something. There's a wonderful feature in Roku's. You can use the Roku app on your phone, get headphones, so you can listen to whatever's on the Roku, and then not go through this all through the house. Keep your wife up, keep the kids up, so you can watch whatever you're gonna watch. Have the headphones on, because it connects to your phone to the Roku. So you can just watch whatever you want in relative silence, and you got a really good pair of headphones. So she can sleep and you can still watch your show, your game, or whatever. That's a married hat there for you.
But I was saying, like, I was asking him, I said, I don't understand, like, I'm a very, very, very light sleeper. And if, you know, in the perfect world, if you're sleeping next to somebody, more than likely they're going to roll in and move in and I'm like this the whole time. Like, how do you handle that particular thing? Like when
headphones in the basement.
You said what?
Headphones and the basement are very great tools
but
for marriage.
Separate, but I'm talking about what if, like, he's saying that they're in the bed together.
Well, I'm saying that's why I got a TV down here on the wall so I can watch what I want, and I ain't gotta bother nobody. And I got headphones. I'll be down here making whole mixes, jamming. Nobody hears it but me.
I'm blessed enough to be in a position where we have a guest bedroom, and anytime, like, I just want to sleep, I can leave. I'm okay with that. You know, there have even been times where I woke up and he done came and got in the bed with me in the guest bedroom. Like, I'm leaving the TV in the game to use, so now he done. Instead of waking me up, then he come down here. But when you married, you find a way to make it work. Yes, you find a way.
But how do you? I understand finding a way, but aren't you tired? Like, does it make you tired?
What do you mean make you tired?
I need my full sleep. Like, I really need my full sleep. But if it's inconsistent, I'm really tired. I'm tired now because I feel like, you know, I might have been with somebody.
But how about this, Shelley? Mm-hmm. How about you find somebody that when you lay next to them, you feel so safe and relaxed.
Yes.
You are able to get rest now because they're there.
Yes. I love that.
I don't have a need for somebody to rest.
Hey, look, and why y'all want to go to sleep and you got all that loveliness laying next to you?
There you go. Oh well,
I'm gonna keep her up another way.
When I get married, yes. When I get married.
Oh, so what you saying is you gonna work her out and make her so exhausted.
Yeah, we gonna have our own little workout party right there in the bed. That's right.
Came out one time.
Hey, look, cause let me tell you, she may be too tired to get up and go out and walk, but she ain't too tired to
Oh my gosh, that is not the answer to
her butt out. Listen,
I'm not even sure how that happened. All right, I'm gonna go into a whole nother subject.
Let's go back.
Let's talk about Keisha and Chris were married how many years ago?
It'll be 5 years in July.
5 years.
5 years.
5 years ago, right? And we're going to go start with relocating for love. So we're going to talk about the whole.
Oh, I like that. Relocating for love.
Relocating for love. Let's talk about that process. I believe we talked about it a little bit on the 5 years ago, but I want to talk about what it's been like since you relocated for love. And then my question to everybody else, anybody in life, we want to talk to you too about relocating for love. What has it been like? Was it Are you glad you did it?
Absolutely.
They
So-
look glad.
No, they
did.
look
They look happy.
Look,
So-
I would be sitting here taking pictures if I was not on here right now. I'd be like,
So
oh, no, that's really
the thing about it
Okay,
is and you know, this is definitely a milestone without a doubt. You know, to sit back and think that, you know, it'll be 5 years next week when, you know, I went to Tennessee.
Next week?
Next week.
So we're like,
Anniversary?
this is like the anniversary?
Yeah.
You
All
can't
right.
tell me God did not ordain this right
Oh,
now.
hey, thank you. Thank you.
Literally, we shot the April show in 2016. And took a donkey to Charlotte with 2 duffel bags, 3 job offers in my back pocket. She was still in Tennessee. When I got here, I was able to, you know what, shout out to Cheryl. Oh my goodness, Cheryl Seymour. She was actually a lady from my hometown in New Jersey that helped the brother out when I first got here. And you know, we went and executed the plan. I got here, I got to work. Memorial Day of 2015 is when we went back to Tennessee vacation. We loaded up the U-Haul and moved.
All right.
You know, it was all a faith move. I tell anybody and everybody about our story that I moved from Philly with 2 duffel bags and a whole lot of faith to start over. And the thing about it is that it's a scary thing to make a faith move like that. But then to know that you was doing it because somebody said yes, to doing it because somebody said they love you and they proved it. You know, if anything, that's the foundation of our relationship. And you're right, it definitely is an ordained opportunity now that we're discussing it. The fact that, you know, we were able to, and, you know, we got to thank you, Shelly, for, you know, allowing us to be on this platform to demonstrate and to show others what it means to sacrifice for love. You know, we were able to tell our story. You know, I went from being a guest to being a panelist to trying to help other people in that single stage, and then God was able to finally give me someone to have covenant with. And the reality of it is, not everybody is meant to be married. But if marriage is your goal, marriage, you know, we still go with this. I'm in one place, she's in the other. And as we got closer to God, we got closer together. That literally happened because she was 8 hours away in Tennessee. I was 8 hours away in Philadelphia. It's an 8-hour drive to Charlotte. It was meeting in the middle. And so much about our relationship is meeting in the middle. Literally, it's meeting in the middle spiritually. And every step of the way, God has really blessed us for that. The scary part about it is, like you were talking about how valuable your sleep is. The funny thing about being single is that it's you. And you can sleep as long as you want. You know, you don't have anyone to disturb you. But the thing about it is that having that companionship, well, I believe we're all wired. And when you're blessed to have that, now it's not, oh, I'm giving or I'm sharing as much as that. It's a mutual connection. It's a mutual benefit. There's going to be some times where you got to compromise. And for us, because that was our foundation was, I'm not going to move to Tennessee. I'm not going to make her move to Philly. It was, we love each other to trust God to come here and start over, and God has blessed every single step of it.
I mean, you know, we're here watching from Facebook. We're here watching from the thing. But when you see the progression, like as people, we can see everything that's progressing. We can see the house progressing. We can see the job progressing. We can see everything in your life progressing. And people say, oh, that's just for social media. But no, this is real. This is real life.
Yeah.
This is real life stuff. I don't want to. I've been asked to relocate many times in many relationships, but maybe I don't have that kind of love because I don't want to. I have a strong desire not to relocate. That's just me in general. Like I want to stay in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, because this is where my business is. This is where I do the most. I want to travel.
But you know what, Shelly? I want to take a page out of your book. You know, faith without what is what?
Faith without works is dead.
So again, if you want something and you want to do something and you want to get something, it means you don't have it. That means you have to do something to obtain it. What we want a change, but we're not willing to take that leap of faith. That's all it is. I listened to.
Oh, you preaching now, Nikki. Hey.
They took a leap
Preaching
of
now.
faith. Okay? Most people won't do that. And I'm gonna be honest with you. If you haven't found that person that makes you feel like I'm gonna take a
Yeah.
leap of faith,
That's the key.
that person may not be for you. That's all I'm saying. I don't know why y'all getting together, but if that person means that much to you, you'll take that leap.
Absolutely.
What if it's not about, not maybe the person does, or maybe I am stuck? Do you ever think that it could be that just something stuck in me that's I could be selfish?
Ain't no could, it is. Ain't no could, Shelly. It is.
No, hey,
You
can I
heard it, right?
can I talk about that one? Can I talk about that one? I think a lot of us, we forget that not only was it a leap of faith, but in the interim, before he got to the faith and she got to that faith moment, they still remember there was a key phrase that he said in that statement. He said, when someone loves you and they prove it, that proving it is about the action and about the communication, both verbal and nonverbal communication. And this is this is a dynamic that they shared in order to get to that moment of faith that say, you know what, baby, I love you. Baby, I love you too. Baby, let's do this as a team and let's stop doing this solo. And this is what happened with them. And this is why they made the decision that, yes, we are going to be joined together. We may not know everything that there is to know about one another, but I have faith enough in our relationship at this point to move forward and be comfortable with what you've shared and showed me so far, that as we move forward, we will move forward together in faith. And as those things, those quirky moments come up, we'll deal with them.
Yep.
So, all right. So I'm gonna ask Nikki. Nikki has a story about relocating for love, and it worked out for her. But and before she goes into that story, just hold on to this for a second. Would you relocate for love, Malik? Hold on to it. Now talk about Nikki. Nikki's been married for
20 plus years.
I don't know if you want me to tell her.
20 plus years.
20 years, Nikki.
20 plus. 20 plus.
20 plus, Nikki.
I won't talk about the plus. That ain't none of your business.
That's why I stopped at.
Yeah, we can say 20. I'm okay with that number, Shelly. 20.
Okay.
We okay with that number.
So you, a long time ago, 20 years ago plus, made a decision to do the same thing. Relocate
yes.
for love.
My situation was a little different. I'm from Philly and the Philly area. And at a young age, I left Philly. I lived in Florida. I lived in Chicago. I lived in LA. And I lived in Atlanta. And when I got to Atlanta, I was happy. I think I found home. And I was going to stay there. I was going back to college. Long story short, I couldn't get my credits transferred, so I had to swing back to college in Pennsylvania for a quick semester, bring up my GPA, take my credits with me. When I was there, I met a young man from Brooklyn, New York.
Uh-oh.
Okay, we finished school. He went back to Brooklyn. I went back to Atlanta. I wanted so bad for him to be in Atlanta. He wanted so bad for me to be in New York. And neither one of us wanted to leave. So we separated. But in that separation, I realized how much I wanted to be with him. And he realized how much he wanted to be with me. So he said to me, you know what? I'm not moving to Georgia. He would never call it Atlanta. I'm not moving to Georgia. He said, but I will be willing to move to Philly. Now, me, I just left Philly saying, I'm leaving Philly. I hate this place. I ain't never coming back. I'm in Atlanta, which, oh my God, can you imagine? I would have bought my house for $37,000 back then. Right? I came back to Philly. We lived in Philly, and here we are 20 years later. So both of us, again, had to decide. Now, we were a little hard-headed. We separated first. But then we had to take that leap of faith, like, listen, I'll be willing to move out of New York. I'll do Philly. So we both had to move. It wasn't literally in the middle like you guys, but again, we made it work. We took that leap of faith. We'll figure it out together.
But even with that, you saying it wasn't in the middle, but the difference is you are more familiar with the area. So meaning the two of them are moving to an area they have no idea about.
Like I
At
said,
least,
yeah,
at
it
least
was a
you are
little.
moving to an area
Right.
that you know people, your homeboy up the street, your homegirl up the street, your mama,
Yeah,
daddy, and
Shelley.
the rest of it. So I mean, you got
But
it
wait a
good.
minute.
You got
But
it
I know,
good.
but wait a minute. I said it was a little different. But however, did you hear the part when I said I left Philly? I didn't like Philly. I wasn't coming
Mhm.
back to Philly. So for me, that was a swallow of pill to go back to a place that I know I didn't like. Home for me at that point was Atlanta. I felt like I belonged here. I was in Philly, and Philly, I don't belong here. So I had to go back to a place where I already said I don't belong. But the difference was with him,
That's right.
it was very different.
Because it was
He needed to be there with me, but me being there, oh no,
Right.
we wasn't.
I understand what you're saying, that it wasn't for you, but I guess I'm getting keying in on the familiarity of the area. If I move somewhere else, then I got to get used to the people. I got to get, I guess I got to start business all over again. But I get it. I'm going to digress on that one because I think I'm going to lose on this whole.
You are.
You are. I feel like I lost. I feel like there's no argument here. There's no like. It's like, hey, if you love someone, you will do what it takes to. Is that the answer? If you love someone, you will do what it takes to be with that person. Answer. Sure.
That's good enough.
That's good enough.
That's good enough. We'll take that. Look,
We'll take that.
we'll take that answer. Good answer.
I got it right. Woo-hoo. Malik, what's up with you? Would you relocate for love?
Yeah. I mean, love is a wonderful thing when you have somebody that understands you and want to understand more of you. Understand what you've given them so far, and and open enough to understand more of you. Taking a leap of faith enough to step into that relationship, knowing that there are some things that may not be so pleasant, but let's see how we deal with that together.
Yeah.
We've dealt with some unpleasant moments, so let's see if when those other unpleasant things come up, if we can deal with those things the same. So I take, even in my book, I take it from an approach of discovery. When you get married, you haven't fully discovered them, and they haven't fully discovered you. But what you have said to one another when you do get married is that I am willing. You've said that I am willing. So if I am to say I am willing to do that, I have to really love this woman and trust her for what she's shown me so far, and she has to show that she is or has been reciprocating that throughout that entire time. Which brings, I guess, the moment where you say, let's go ahead and do this. So I would do that. Because discovery for me, it's a never ending process.
So I guess that's where we are now. So with discovery, you live in Tennessee, you live in Philadelphia, you have children, he has children. We've already done the show.
Wow.
How many children he has? He has 8 children. You have 3 children, right? You have to blend these families. Now, do you bring your children to Charlotte? Do you bring your children to Charlotte? How does that work? How do you blend? How do you make this whole blended family work and still be a part of the children's lives?
So I think I'll let Christopher talk about with his children. But I said for me, I have Jace, who's 9, and he's in the home. And then my daughter, my middle child, is also in the home. So the only child that I am separated from is my son. He's 26. And just got married. And the only thing that really keeps me tied to the area is my grandbabies. So you have to make a plan to integrate. I definitely miss having that one-on-one with my grandbabies, because you see them on Facebook and you see the other mother-in-law taking them to church and doing the Easter bunny. So, I had to have a conversation with my son to say, hey, look, yes, I may be 8 hours away, but we got to figure this thing out. We got to make time for vacation. You gotta bring them to me. We gotta meet halfway. Y'all gotta come to visit. You gotta figure that out, because I'm not you know, and nothing to do with interracial, but it's their interracial couple. And I think it's important not only for my grandchildren to see the other side of the family, but also a family that look like their daddy and that have cultural things that they have to be aware of, and not just that side of the family. So it's definitely takes some planning, and making sure that all the adults involved are.
That's right. That grandbaby needs somebody to braid her hair. Is it a female child? Is it a female child?
A boy and a girl.
Well, he gonna need somebody to cut his hair, and she gonna need somebody to braid it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But
So-
no, I like that. I like what you said about. I'm sorry, Shelley. Can I comment on that? I like what you said about working things out. I mean, especially when you're far away. And I like the way you prefaced it with, it's not about the interracial thing, but it's about still getting them close to their other, you know, papa and grandma, you know, so that they can understand the culture. 'Cause-
Paul and Grandma.
Papa and grandma, you know what I'm saying? But it's good because as they get older, because even if they weren't interracial, you grandma and grandpa over here probably have a different culture than grandma and grandpa over there. And it's good for them to understand and know that as grandchildren, because I know my grandmama and grandpa on my grandmama on my mama's side, she was totally different from my grandma on my daddy's side. Two totally different cultures, being Asiatic, you know what I'm saying? But two totally, because of the environment or the geographical area that they're in. So I like what you said about that, sis. Definitely.
Absolutely. So we're gonna go to Chris. I want to make sure we acknowledge that this is a reunion show.
Hey.
There is Mr. Goodnight. He just came on. What's going on, Mr. Goodnight?
Oh, another day in the life of being a black man in America. Making
Oh, trip.
they got the legendary
Don't get
Chris
nothing
Mario.
started there. Look, Mr. Goodnight, don't get nothing started today.
But
Mr.
it be good,
Goodnight.
Be good.
Everything is good, but I want to make sure everybody knows that from the beginning, Mr. Goodnight was here. Chris, the whole time we're all interacting, so this is really like a reunion. You don't actually physically get to see them, but I hope you understand the dynamic of what's going on. David D. Train, would you like to share your news with everybody?
Yes,
No.
put it out there.
Oh. What is there to share?
I ain't messing with you. Never mind. We're gonna go back into the blended family because we'll come back for you on the blended family because you are doing just that as well. So you have two. I didn't know that two of your kids were in the home. So how does that work? And then we'll go on to Chris. But how does that work with the fathers of the children? Do they? I mean, you gotta be like.
So
That's actually kind of
So so my middle child is 23. So she grown.
She is grown.
But Jace is 10, and his dad and his new wife actually moved from Tennessee to Gastonia. And so we are having to
Lord.
work out this whole blended co-parent.
Man.
It's been kind of awesome. It started off a little bit rough. We all got into a group chat. We went out to eat at a restaurant. Jace is now going rotate every week with them. So it works.
But
If you work it.
But what made like he said that he just said, I want to make sure you're happy, so I'm going to move. Like, I mean,
It was Jace. He said he was not going to be 8 hours away from his son, and he's originally from this area. So his roots are from this area. His family is in Henderson. So he moves home, so to speak. So it works out.
sometimes you move on.
You have to go get some life experiences first, sometimes, and then come back with a whole new perspective.
Yeah.
But sometimes you move back home, which is a blessing. It feels like,
It worked out.
It not just worked out, but we also, from the godly perspective, it feels like God really just ordained and destined everything in your life, and you had it's almost like confirmation. If you ever was wondering, is this meant to be? You had confirmation, but you always knew. I mean, we've had plenty of conversations.
Absolutely.
You always knew. It's like, I want to be as confident as you because you always knew. Even when everybody, and that was real,
Everybody.
real raps, everybody said, oh my God, he's got 8 kids. Oh my God. You know,
Yeah.
we as a show even came down. I don't think it was me necessarily, but maybe some of, you know, us as a show came down on you with 8 children. How does it work out with your children? They should probably be grown by now. I mean, not all of them, not the little
So
ones.
the thing that's crazy is, you know, right now the ratio is actually going to shift. Lakeisha, of course, she has her 3 biological children. She has her oldest daughter from her first marriage, so that's 12. Her 4, my 8. 6 of them are grown, and one's getting ready to graduate high school, and she got accepted to Virginia Tech, which is weird because she's technically the closest child. She lives in Virginia, but she's 5 hours away from me. Where she's getting ready to go to college is only 3 hours away because Virginia Tech's 3 hours from here. That is, here's the thing, it's about being strategic. It's about being resourceful. There's been times where Michael's mom, my youngest son who lives in West Philly, she's got on a plane, flew to Charlotte Douglas Airport, met me at the airport. She didn't even leave the airport. She met me at baggage plane, went right back up, took the plane back to Philly. I had Michael for multiple weeks in the summer and then drove him back. I've had to work out arrangements with my other children. Now, the weird thing is COVID kind of put the brakes on a lot of things because, you know, when we moved here, we were renting a house, and then in 2019, we were able to buy a house. And then we have enough space for everybody at any given point. You know, her children and my children. The key for that, and you know, and this is a huge caveat, especially once again, I told you to be encouraged. Having those type of assets, having those type of things in position, so you have a home base, you have something of legacy and something to build on for all of our children. At the end of the day, my grown sons in New Jersey, my oldest daughter in New Jersey, you know, anytime the situation arises, they have home. Dad lives in Gastonia, North Carolina, with his wife, and they're always going to be welcome. Even our younger children, as they get older and they go on their life, home base is going to be where we're at. And that is, number one is consistency. Number one is compromise. Number 3 is communication. It's been a struggle. There's been times where don't answer the phone. There's been times where, you know, I've had to really step up and do my part. I don't get back to Philly as much as I wanted to, but when I'm there, I make sure I see them. The key here is, like it says in the Bible, I go to prepare a place for you. One of the biggest things about our marriage and our relationship, and knowing that we have these beautiful young people that we're responsible for, is that we make preparations. We make sure things are on point so that anytime any of them want to come home, we're ready. Now in 2021, I got a child getting ready to go to college. I got children getting ready to go to middle school, transitioning into high school. Once again, it boils down to, like Keisha said earlier, when all the grown-ups are on the same page, the kids win.
You gotta say that again.
When all the grown-ups are on the same page, the kids win. And I got that from Joel Austin in the Fathers Club. The key with that is the grown-ups, the adults, the people who make those decisions have to make a conscious effort to set the children up for success. Our job as parents is to make sure we give our kids a lead and we give them a step. That's if they ever had to ask what my motivation was for leaving Philadelphia, it was realizing that I was in a position in Philly where I was going to set them up for success.
There you go.
In 5
That's
years,
still a leap of faith.
in
You
5
had to
years,
do
that
something
situation is
different.
completely turned around.
Yeah. But you had to you recognize that this situation is not working for you. You knew you wanted something different and better. And again, it's hard to live in the future now, but you have to live in the future now. You can't be like one day. You can't be like wish. Like, you have to go towards it. And I always think about it like the Michael Jackson video when he would step on the steps and they would light up. Nothing would light up until you put the step. You have to step first. And sometimes you're going to step on a square and it ain't no light, but that's okay. You have to take the step. And when you take that step, the next thing opens and the next one. But if you stand here and wait until you have everything figured out, you ain't never going to go anywhere. Let me tell you, what people,
Yo, Eddie, we gonna give her a organ sample. Bro.
listen, more dreams are lost to complacency than fear.
Ooh,
That is
Yes.
good.
ooh, you wanna say that again? Let's say it.
More dreams are lost to complacency than
Hey,
fear.
Ooh.
Woo! We need some mic drop, some
yo,
booms.
Nikki, give me a high after that. Give me a high after that. More dreams and fear.
You were not complacent. You was like, I'm sick and tired. You was just like, I'm doing something different. This ain't working.
That's true. I mean, honestly, from the outside looking in, you're like, yes, it worked for you. It was a blessing. Everything was a blessing. You see everything that happened throughout the 5 years that it was. I think all our concern was, I guess mind was on normalcy. Like, oh my God, what's normal is you live in the same location with your children. What normal is you're there for the day-to-day, raising of the children. And to me, that's always been my thought. Remember, I always said that. How to, because that's kind of hard, especially with Michael, because you were with him a lot, constantly. It was like, you go there. He's like, but that's what you're supposed to do with kids, I know. But
I know. I was like, am I the only one that caught that?
So
you know, I don't have kids, so I'm like, you were. Oh,
I'm sorry, Shelly, I didn't let that one go.
You did.
You were being good parents.
The thing that's crazy in this day and age is, case in point, we have this meeting. We have so many different tools to be able to keep lines of communication open. It's not even fun. Like, you got your FaceTime, you got your Google Duo, you got Zoom. The crazy thing about the pandemic, if anything, and obviously as things are changing and people's perspectives are waking up in a lot of arenas, the key thing about when you realize how much you miss something, you then put a lot of energy into making sure that you sustain it. For me, the push is utilizing every asset and resource I have available. If it means I got to go run to the airport and get on a plane and fly up to get them, cool. A lot of times I'll just take the drive. I know Dave knows a lot about I-85, up and down. I don't know if he made his runs to Chapel Hill on a regular basis.
That's a long drive.
But is it too long?
No, it
Not
is
for
not.
the babies?
Oh, no.
It is
Not
not.
for our children?
No, I'll be like, fly my grandbaby up. We'll figure out how she's gonna get home. She gonna get home. Just get her up
if
here.
it comes down to it, you can file court paperwork online. Before you had to go to family court, you can go right on the internet, click, pay for whatever, and if you got to file paperwork, you can do it. The crazy part about it is that as much of a battle and struggle it is, realize that obstacles are opportunities for God to show up in the situation. And at the end of the day, we can either build a monument of excuses.
That's right.
Or we can build a structure of success. And, in 5 years, I've had failures, I've had places where I've fallen short. But we've had a lot of areas where things are successful. The encouragement I have for those who were single is realizing that in your single stage, and I might have said this before, this is what I've been taught, this is what I want. To be in your single stage, make sure you got as much things in your life and your resources, your assets, your home, whatever it is, your career, more of those things you have on point together. And no, it's perfect. The realization is you have a stronger ground to stand on when you make a good decision. When you have to really look at tough things and tough decisions in the face, you realize that you're standing on solid ground and you're dealing with another person that has that same stability in mind. For us now, realizing that it's not just a milestone, it's a checkpoint. It's and we do this almost twice a year at this point. We'll go away just for a weekend and get the notebooks out, laptops out, and I guess it's a good segue for what else y'all want to talk about. But realizing that our love is our love, it's a reflection of marriage is a reflection of God for the church, right? Mm-hmm. So if our marriage doesn't reflect the way God loves His people, then we got some issues with it. The point is that I believe I serve God with limitless resources. Mm-hmm. We're walking in that because when I moved to the city, I was on the bus. I didn't have a car. She would drop me off at the bus stop. I would take 2 buses to get to work. Eventually, I got a job where I had a vehicle where I was able to drive myself to work. Now I drive about 45 minutes away because I was able to get a car. Those things in the natural that seemingly are normal, right? Or progressions that were necessary because, once again, I could have portrayed my normal in Philadelphia is not my normal today. My normal in Philadelphia was 2, 3, 4 buses, a train, whatever it took to get to where I had to get.
See, that's why I left Philly. See, you wasn't
But the
working.
thing about it is
No.
the vehicles
There's
change.
no disability, it just happened. No, we
But
ain't
here's
just-
the thing,
I
the
love Philly.
vehicles change, but the drive is still the same.
Mhm.
The drive to be thankful for what God has given you, the drive to know I have a beautiful woman that is my wife, that's my spouse. We got to work things together, and we have a beautiful family that we have to support. And with that said, even taking our relationship to the next level, the natural progression in that is also now what we're doing for business.
Business, yeah, we definitely wanted to get into business, but how you're about to do business, you're in business, but what about similarities? Is it necessary to have similarities and be compatible in what you like, what you do? Is it necessary?
Well, I would definitely say Christopher and I are opposite.
Oh my goodness.
We are so
Most
Yeah.
couples
Really?
are.
we are so
I
opposite.
just don't see them as
Like,
opposite.
we
I really
are-
don't.
We are night
You
and
don't live
day.
with them.
I'm very introverted. He's the life of the party. He's extroverted. He'll talk to a rock if it'll talk back to him. He likes to be around. He's a socialite. He likes to be around people. He likes to be in the hustle and bustle. I very much would like to be just me at home, not really doing a whole lot of that. He likes to spend. I'm a saver. He likes to watch TV. I don't. And so with all of that, you can still work out. I believe we have a somewhat of similarities, but we actually balance each other out. Like, I'm a hothead. He's very much so calm. He's not going to get upset with me. I remember in prior relationships, it was like oil and water. I would pop off, and then my ex-husband would pop off, and before you know it, we fighting and throwing stuff. With him, he just looks at me like, dear, we're not doing this today. How can you get upset and pop off on somebody just looking at you like, we're not doing this?
It takes 2 people to argue.
We're not doing this. And so at first it was an adjustment to get used to how different we were, but we actually balanced each other out really well. We really balance each other out where we have actually used it to our advantage, because even in building the nonprofit, I pushed him out to say, okay, you are the face, you are the voice, and then I'll do the administrative, and it has worked very well because he'll talk to people. He's good at making connections. He's good at networking. And so I think sometimes when you're trying to find compatibility, you got to figure out you don't have to be